think in the 30 years that I've been associated with Takajo, there have been a number of shocks that have happened, and we've been, I just marvel at the way the Takajo family work as a unit and resolve and cope with the stresses of things like the dining hall fire.
When the dining hall caught fire, it was probably the worst day of my life. I got a call at 4 o'clock in the morning from Larry, told me that the dining hall was on fire. I grabbed my clothes, ran out the door, and I live 7 miles away from here on top of a hill, and the whole sky was ablaze. I got here, and the firemen had just arrived. They were all setting up, running and screaming, everybody going everywhere, trying to figure out what was the best way to fight the fire. Just the intensity of the moment. The dining hall was burning down, and that was just about gone. But trying to fight the fire so it didn't affect anything else that was happening in camp, trying to keep it off the lodge, trying to keep it out of the commons and the cook's quarters and out of the trees. It was very scary, very intense.
At 4:15 in the morning, I was in Florida with my wife Joan and 2 children at the time, and Jerry calls at 4:15 in the morning, and he says the dining room just burnt down to the ground. And I remember taking a deep breath and saying, Jerry, when you call somebody at 4:15 in the morning, you normally start the call by saying, everything is okay, hate to wake you, something, but not your dining room is burnt down at 4:15 in the morning. Needless to say, it caught me off guard.
When we got the call, around Christmas time, it was in December.
Probably the day after the fire.
We got a call from Jeff about the fire and heard about it. We drove up.
The next day.
Yeah, we drove up the next day.
And I arrived at camp late afternoon on December 27th, and I still remember looking at the smoldering ashes of what was once our camp dining hall. And as I looked down at the smoldering ashes, I remember thinking, oh my God, this is just unbelievable, oh my God.
It was just mind-boggling, just mind-boggling. I mean, that dining room had been there forever, and to see, just to see the rubble and to smell, the smell was just awful.
It was really about the memorabilia, really more than the building itself. It was a beautiful old building, but really knowing that all the Dippy plaques and the Lake Swim plaques and all the memorabilia from the history of the camp was in there, that was really the saddest thing of all about losing the dining hall.
Came to that, looked at that dining hall, and I cried. You know, there were so many memories in there and everything. It was a big shock to me, like it was to everybody else that was involved there.
It was a real shock to see Okeechobee, the laundry, and the dining hall gone. And it almost looked like a tiny area. I couldn't believe how small that area was. So much had gone on there, and there was, with Okeechobee, what a beautiful building for our older boys to be in, overlooking the water. I couldn't believe we were going to have to live without that.
And then as I picked my head up, I looked out to Long Lake, something that I had never seen from that position in camp, because it was completely blocked by this big dining hall. And I said, oh my God, we can do something here. We have an unobstructed, magnificent view of Long Lake, and we are going to make the best of this terrible situation.
We decided that what we were going to do was to blast a space in the hillside in what is now the field house, and that we would build a field house, and that in its first year it would serve as our dining room. And that next to that would be this modular configuration comprised of 53-foot trailers.
Mobile kitchens that would have to come into camp, and that we would feed everybody out of that structure, which would allow us the time that we would need to develop architects' plans and to give careful thinking to how we would design a new building.
The ironic thing is that we wanted to rebuild the dining room on the water, And once we put some sand on the beach and landscaped a little bit, we realized we don't want to hide this beautiful, magnificent view of the lake. And because of the way everything fell into place, we were able to move it back from the water and create a larger, more beautiful building, and one with air conditioning, which is really now gives us a respite from those hot days and really gives us room to move around.
By rebuilding the dining hall, if anything, it showed us what camp is really about, and it's about the people, and it's about coming together, and the destruction of one building wasn't going to destroy camp in any way.